Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and the former communications director for Kamala Harris goes on CNN and gives this wild take that stuns even the most staunch liberals on that panel. This is wild. But before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our great sponsors over at Colonial Metals Group. Even though Trump has won the election, we still need to protect our wealth with gold and other precious metals, and no one better does it than Colonial Metals Group. Now, let's dive in.
We're now 71 days from Trump taking the oath of office. What is the most important thing that everybody is looking for? That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to, from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's in Joe Biden's control. And if he did it, it would fulfill his last promise. It would give Kamala Harris the chance to be the 47th president of the United States of America. It would disrupt all of Donald Trump's paraphernalia. Right? He'd have to rebrand everything. But she would, and it would make it easier for the next woman who runs for president to not have to worry about all the historical, weight of being the first. We can
Top
solve
that,
this problem
Brad.
in the
I
next
have
30
something
days.
that's a lot more realistic. There are 7 Americans right now in dungeons in Gaza. If Hamas does not have them walking and talking on American soil before Donald Trump is president, they will have hell to pay. And I'm looking for that to happen in the next 70 days.
We haven't actually heard a lot from Donald Trump. I know he's like getting his administration put together, but it would actually be nice if he goes to the White House if he is the president for all, if he is the president for Americans, talk to the people who did not vote for him and earn our trust to say, other night you said like Democrats should let us work. Talk to us then, engage us. Don't just continue to feed your base and continue to throw red meat. Be the leader that both of you think he can be.
You're already showing some good faith with that beautiful red suit this morning. Here's what I want. A couple things. Number one.
Wait, do you want to say something?
Go ahead.
Do you think I want to say something?
I think if Ashley wanted to say something, she would say it.
My mother is
She
watching.
wants to say something.
My mother is watching, so I will be on my best man.
Actually, you just did. Go
I know.
ahead.
I met Mama this week, and she's beautiful and a lovely person, so that was fun. Here, a couple things. Number one, if I was over in Tehran and I had just hacked and tried to assassinate Donald Trump and now he's fixing to take over the United States military again, I'd probably be a little worried. On the domestic front, there's a political science term for what Republicans did this week. It's called a country butt whooping. And they have a mandate to govern. And one thing I want to see them do is get a handle on the bureaucracy. They're meeting at the Pentagon right now about possibly thwarting Donald Trump. You've got a rogue FEMA employee out here. We're not going to give aid to people with Donald Trump signs. The bureaucracy works for the people. The people elect the leaders. And I want to see Donald Trump follow through on this idea of taming the federal bureaucracy.
Once again, Scott Jennings is coming out with these fantastic little quips and ideas, and he even showed a little good faith over to one of his fellow panelists, which, by the way, go back and watch the shot right before Scott really starts talking. You'll notice right before they give him his close-up that there is this side eye of, I want to do unspeakable things to you by the lady who is well-dressed in this wonderful little red suit. He's right, she is well-dressed. She's pulling it off. I can't pull off a red suit like that. So good for her, that's a compliment. But she can't stand the fact that he is even making light of something, even though it's in the positive. Okay, even though it was positive, she's still angry. But you know what? That's not the important thing of this whole conversation. That's not even the second most important thing. The second most is that same lady saying, well, Donald Trump needs to show that he can lead for everyone. He did that 4 years ago, and you hated him for it every single step of the way. You tried to make it harder for him to get his message out there. You made it impossible for him to really talk, to traditional media outlets. When he would debate, he would get talked over time and time and time again by the moderators whose one job it is to make sure that the debate goes smoothly. And who's the one person that they sort of zeroed in on in both the Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden debates? It was Trump. Hey y'all, I'm not exactly looking at retirement anytime soon, but my parents are, and friends of my parents are, and I'm sure either you or someone you know is looking at retirement and wondering, what do I do? How do I help prepare for this in this economy with this terrible president and with a vice president who basically coup d'etat him and is now looking to run for president herself? How do you protect against this? Well, simple. You go over to my friends at Colonial Metals Group. They quite literally have something called the Retirement Package Plan. This plan backs your wealth with gold and silver accounts. And furthermore, you will have direct access to these accounts. So you're not at the whims of Wall Street. You're not at the whims of inflation. You are in command of your own destiny. As a bonus, qualified applicants can receive up to $10,000 in free silver, plus a couple of other little goodies that they're going to package up for you, and you're going to be able to protect your wealth and your retirement. So go over to this link in the description below at colonialmetalsgroup.com or call this number 800-203-0422 and see how they can help you prepare for retirement today by backing your account with gold and silver. Don't delay your retirement, folks. Protect the money that you earned with Colonial Metals Group. They're here to help. And that's been the case time and time again. So I'm sorry, ma'am. Even though Scott Jennings says, I'm glad you're showing a little bit of good faith, I don't believe you for a single second. The entirety of CNN, their whole goal is to placate rich white liberals, give them the catharsis they need. And speaking of catharsis, this is the real crux of this whole video. That was Jamal, let me pull up his name real fast, Jamal Simmons, who was the former communications director for Vice President Harris. And granted, he's doing what I call catharsis, catharsis rhetoric. And he's trying to tell her most ardent supporters that, hey, there's the possibility, there's this smidgen of hope that she can still be president. Which I think would be the funniest thing all time, because if she becomes the 47th president, then every single piece of paraphernalia of Donald Trump being 45 and 47 now becomes a massive collector's item, which ups the value. So congratulations, you just made Trump supporters more wealthy. Just brilliant tactic, buddy. Brilliant. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Actually, it could even hurt Kamala Harris and other women candidates in the future. Because if this is the best you can get, an undemocratically appointed and then elected and then president of the United States was a woman, oh boy, that's kneecapping yourself and then wondering why, you can't go ice skating the next day. That's a bless your heart moment. But ultimately, what this dude was talking about is utter nonsense. The whole idea that Joe Biden's going to hand the reins to Kamala Harris at the last possible second, yeah. Okay, first off, Jill Biden hates Kamala Harris. She has hated her since day one and has hated most of the potential vice presidential picks because Jill wants to basically run the White House. Joe Biden wants to be the figurehead. He wants to be the lovable puppy dog from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who loves ice cream and seems to really, really like little girls, and ultimately just be that nice old Uncle Joe while Jill runs the show. And the reason that he didn't pick, for instance, Stacey Abrams from my home state, Georgia, is because Stacey Abrams basically told him, look, if you pick me, I'm going to give you your best chance, but you're going to have to give me a whole lot of power. Joe Biden laughed and said no, and now Stacey Abrams will never be in national politics again, or Georgia politics for that matter, to which I'm indeed thankful. So you know what? Thank you, Joe Biden. But this dude is carrying water for the Harris campaign. He is trying to make sure that he still has friends in high places. He is trying to make sure that he says the right things at the right times for the right people. But even his fellow panelists were just looking left and right and going, yeah, we ain't buying this crap. So he's between a rock and a hard place, so I understand his position. However, his position is absolutely asinine and hopefully will never come to pass. Because Kamala Harris just got rejected by the voters at the electoral level, at the and also at the national level. She lost the popular vote, or at least is on track to, and she lost the Electoral College in stunning fashion. She should never see the inside of the White House, except on tour, ever again. And this panelist, bless his heart, I know he's trying, but Scott Jennings, once again, tries to extend an olive branch to which we all know will be rejected. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.